Our next guest today started with the World Trade Center Institute as an intern. Now, 13 years later, Eddie Resende is VP of Operations at the Institute and responsible for forecasting, strategy, product development, and human resources. Please welcome World Trade Center Institute VP of Operations, Eddie Resende. Thanks for being a guest today on Game Changers. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me.
So you started out as an intern. How did you even know about the World Trade Center Institute?
So I studied at Towson University, and when I went to school, I was looking for a career that could take me to many different parts of the world. And I'm originally from Brazil, so I spoke Portuguese at the time, and I was studying Spanish. And I really wanted to pursue a degree that I would be able to combine my language skills. So I learned about international business. And during my junior and senior year, when I was looking for internship opportunities, I saw a WTCI flyer on the wall and said, here's an opportunity for you to connect to global companies and explore a career in international business. And I applied, went in for the interview, and got the position. I was very excited.
And then you came back. What was it that made you want to come back and pursue a career with them?
Exactly. So after I finished my internship and I graduated from Towson, I went to work for a telecommunication company. It's called Tesco Technologies in Hunt Valley. I was with them for a year doing international development. And after a year, I decided to go back to Brazil. I hadn't been home for many years, and this was an opportunity to go and travel a little bit, explore the country. And I worked for a company called Gems of the Earth that helps to establish telecommunications centers in rural communities of Brazil. So I did that for a year, and it was a very rewarding experience. But after a year, as you know, with many small nonprofits, it's the funding mechanism wasn't there. There were some payroll issues, and I decided, look, it's time to go back to the U.S. and start my career there. Yeah. That's where I have my contacts, and so I learned about, I went back to the World Trade Center, reached out to some of my contacts, and my predecessor went in there, and our president, Deborah Kilty, who's been with the organization for 15 years now, actually 16, she was there, and she was part of the interview, and I said, I definitely want to be here and work with these guys, and it's a very international team, and this is where I want to be.
Right, and she said, okay, you're hired.
That's it. So it's been a very rewarding experience ever since, and I've taken on many different responsibilities within the organization.
Yeah, so talk about some of your responsibilities, because many of our viewers may not know what the Institute offers and what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. So just to give you a brief background on the World Trade Center Institute, we were founded in 1989 by Governor Schaefer at the time, and also our chairman, Harold Adams, who was at the time was the president of RTKL, the architectural firm. And Harold and Schaefer had gone to Asia to conduct state business and promote Maryland as a destination for foreign direct investment. And when they got there, they realized that that wasn't how things worked, that you needed to have an organization that would be able to assist with supporting companies in the region that are doing international business. So they came back, they established the organization. So we've been in business for about 28 years now. And our job is to educate, connect, and support companies to international opportunities. And since I've been there, started out in business development and membership, moved on to strategic planning, and now Vice President of Operations. So I oversee HR, strategy, and finance.
Okay. And when you talk about the different programs, that they offer, I understand that WTCI has a program for students to expand their knowledge when it comes to global education, partnerships. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So our president, I mentioned Deborah Kilty, she came from Procter & Gamble, where she spent 23 years traveling the world. And when she started at the World Trade Center, she realized that we needed to have a very robust internship program where the interns could have meaningful experience, right? So we worked closely with many of the universities, and the interns we have every semester, we have about 6 to 8 interns that are helping us to drive this business and our mission of driving international collaboration and business growth. This past year, we've been shifting our strategy a little bit and looking much more into professional development programs. And one of our board members who's been with the organization from day one, Jim Albrecht, who was a former executive at McCormick and Company, has provided us with a grant to start a program called Global Pathways for Students. And that's going to be launched in the summer of 2018. And the goal is to connect globally minded college students, 25 to 30 per year, to many of the companies that are on our board in the global corporations here in the area. So that once they're done through the program, they have a much more robust network. And they're much more likely to stay and work for a global company versus looking into cities like London or New York. So they're staying here in Maryland, they're being connected, they're learning how to be more marketable. And by the time they're done, they'll have a better idea of where to go to find some of these international.
Yeah. Now, are you all reaching out to students today because this program kicks off in 2018?
We are. We're starting the application process. We're working with the University System of Maryland and many of the universities in identifying the best and most of dedicated, globally minded students in the area.
And how important is that to reach out to students and help keep that, or foster them and help keep them here in Baltimore, even though they're going to have that global impact?
Right. It's very important. And I think for many of the universities, you look at Hopkins, University of Maryland, Baltimore, they spend so much time in trying to recruit the best talent from around the world to come into Baltimore. And many times they get their educations, they go back to their country, and that's it. And there are also people that have been here their entire lives and they finish, and a lot of times they don't know what to do with their careers, right? So for us, if we can find a way to retain talent here in Maryland and Baltimore, it's going to be great for the city, it's going to be great for the state.
All right. Well, hold that thought. I see you thinking of something else to say. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. So folks at home, stay with us. We'll be right back with more Eddie Resende. He is the Vice President of Operations for the World Trade Center Institute. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Game Changers with my guest, Eddie Resende. He is the Vice President of the World Trade Center Institute. So before the break, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about a gala, a very important gala that is coming up that we want all of our viewers to know about. Talk to us about that.
We're very excited about this. This is called our Maryland Global Gala, which is the second annual that we're hosting this program. And I mentioned to you earlier about our professional exchanges program, and something that your viewers may not know is that every year we host about 700 visitors from all over the world that are coming into Baltimore and the Maryland region. And these visitors are here to learn best practices in our field. So just this month alone, we have a group from France, another group from Germany that are here to learn about, smart city. They're here to learn about human trafficking. They're here to learn about, combating extremism and many other important topics. And our job is to really connect this group to different entities in Maryland that can train them and teach best practices. So when the group goes back to their country, they can implement a lot of the lessons learned in the state of Maryland, right?
Interesting.
So this just, and something else that most people don't know about, but the economic impact of this particular program is that last year was $1.3 million. And those are the money that these visitors are spending on hotels, transportations, restaurants, retail. So for many years, we're like, look, we have this amazing program, which is led by our director of our professional exchanges program, Janine. And we always thought that people don't really know about this, right?
Yeah.
So we said, why don't we have, and Baltimore is such a global city, there are so many companies that are doing international business, and they have a particular technology or product that's addressing some major problems around the world. So we said, why don't we coordinate an event, a major global gala, to celebrate Baltimore and the world? And so we started last year. And we had 8 different restaurants come out, and international restaurants, and give out samples of their food, and some including fogo de chão, the Brazilian place. We had Clavel, the Mexican restaurants.
Yeah. So has the number of restaurants increased for this year?
It has. So and the event's scheduled for December 6th.
Okay.
And we always have a few breakout sessions. So last year we had one on leveraging technology for social good and another one on multicultural training, so people know when they're traveling abroad how to engage people from different countries. And we also have many different cultural performances. So we had some salsa dancers last year. We had a group that did some African drums performance, which was really exciting. And we're doing it again this year. Like I said, we have more restaurants. We have 2 more breakout sessions. We're expecting close to 400 people. And it's a fun event, and it's also an opportunity for us to showcase not only international, but all the wonderful things that Baltimore has to offer.
Okay, so lots of good stuff that WTCI offers. So for those of you at home, if you want to learn more about WTCI, just again, go to the website, WTCI.org. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank all of my guests, including Eddie Resende, for being a part of Game Changers today. We'll see you next time.